Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is the KV-220-2. It's a Tier 5 Russian premium heavy. It's located on the south spawn of Widepark, and it's under the command of 73north, the WTWW clan. Well, what can I tell you about this tank? Well, armed with a 76mm main gun, it's capable of 110 alpha. And the standard penetration is only 99mm of armor, but with the premium APCR it goes through 121. So you can see here that he's put an awful lot of premium rounds in this one, so I suspect it's probably going to cost him quite a lot. Well, the Shure MV7X kind of got in his way there at the start, but there are a lot of bots in this game. It's a Tier 5 game, only Tier 5 tanks, but every person in the game with a colon before and after their name is a bot, so you can see there's a lot of them. Now the KV-220-2, what is this tank? Well, basically the Russians realized that the KV-1 wasn't really strong enough for their purposes, even when it first came out in 1940. And what they wanted to do is improve the armor, and they did that by lengthening the hull and putting an extra 10 or 20mm of thick armor right on the front of the vehicle and the rear. It's basically a Tier 7 tank with a Tier 5 turret. And the Tier 7 tank that it's actually got, the hull, is in actual fact a KV-3, because this was the development of the KV-3. It started with the KV-220-2 and the T-150, which is a Tier 6 Soviet heavy. And then it obviously went from there to the KV-3 in the end. Now it does have thick armor at the front, which makes it very difficult to penetrate. You shouldn't shoot at the front or rear of a KV-2 unless you're using premium ammo, because you're not really going to get through. But if you aim at the turret, and you can see that the enemy has been aiming at the turret, you can definitely penetrate it. In fact, he's taking a lot of damage from a T-67 up there, so he's turned towards him to try and get the T-67 to hit the heavy armor so it blocks the shot. That guy's firing a 76mm round, and he doesn't want to take too much damage from that guy. Now, in actual fact, they were going to fit the 85mm gun on the KV-220-2, but in the end, it was only the 76mm that they had available. And they had a lot of mileage under the... oh, he might actually get a kill here. Yes, he does. He takes out the problem maker, and he's got his first kill in the game. Looks like he's got another KV-1. You can see he's pumping these APCR rounds through the enemy tank. But it's kind of going to cost him at the end of the game, because he'll have a big bill for his shells. So they actually had, this vehicle went up as high as 60 tons in weight. And so they had to have an extra strong engine in order to make it move about. It wasn't particularly fast. It's got a top speed of 38 kilometers an hour in the game and 10 in reverse, but it was very strong on the armor. They started work on it on December the 5th, 1940, and they were testing it by January of 1941. And you can see here he's having absolutely no problem putting rounds through those enemy tanks, but that's because he is using premium rounds. And the M10 realized that he has to stop behind that building or he'll get hit. It's backing up. Side scraping won't help you if you're being hit with these shells. Remember, the M10 only has a maximum 25mm of armor, and so these shells are just going to carve straight through them. They'll overmatch the side of the vehicle. Okay, he's pumping rounds into the OI now, although he caught a wrong spot there and there, but he did punch that one through. He's now potentially got the high caliber in this game. So what else can I tell you about the KV-220-2? Well, we don't know where it ended up. They only built one prototype according to the books, but and they made one prototype for the T-150 as well, but we've no idea where they eventually went. And there he's got another kill, so that's 3 kills now, but there's still 5 enemies out there, and both teams have got the same score. Okay, there's a Panzer T25, the Czech version of the German version of the Czech tank. Never got built. And over there, KV-1, you can definitely penetrate that guy. It's a pity he's not using the standard rounds on that Panzer T25 because they don't have much armor and he could easily penetrate them, but then he could do the same with the T67. That's got very weak armor too. Okay, now he's got the Panzer. Yeah, keep pumping those rounds in. And yes, even though the guy's in the water to try and protect himself, it's not going to stop these shells taking him out. Oh! The Leopard got a kill steal there. And now we've got another T67. Now that guy's fairly okay at long range shooting. And one more to kill, maybe? Yes, he does. So that's his 4th kill in the game. And there's only 2 enemies left. One of which is, or both of which actually are heavy tanks. A KV-1S and a KV-1. Now it does have excellent hull armor. It's got good side scraping capability. It's got a large health pool as well and decent gun depression. It actually has 8 degrees of gun depression, which is quite good considering most Soviet tanks only have about 6 degrees of gun depression. It's also got preferential matchmaking, which means it only sees tier 5 and 6. You won't see tier 7 in this tank. What's bad is, of course, the turret armor is incredibly weak. It's very sluggish and terrible on traverse. All that line looks like an AFK. Aiming for the weak spots between the tracks. Oh, he went through the drive wheel there. And now he's tracked it. Into the engine bay. One more to kill. Oh, and the kill gets stealed by the Leopard, who was waiting for the moment that he could get that. And that's the last kill of the game. And this one is a victory. Well, despite the fact that he got kill stealed at the end of the game by that Leopard again, because he would have had 2 more, which meant he would have actually got a top gun if only he managed to get the shells timed at the right moment. That Leopard was waiting on both occasions to actually get the kill shot. He got a first ace tanker out of that game. You can tell it's the first one because he got the scrolls underneath the M and you only get that the first time. He also got a fire throw effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. He got a fighter badge for getting at least 4 kills. He got 4 exactly. He also got a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 14. He got a high caliber for dealing the most damage in the game. And he got a Confederate as well for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team. His win rate in that game was 11,823, which is super unicum and a lot more, and shows basically he was dominating the battlefield, but it was other tanks who were actually kill stealing away from him. When it came to the team score, you can see the highest damage in the game was 3,610 hit points of damage. Second highest damage in the game turned out to be the M10 RBFM on the enemy team with 1,414. And third highest, well, that went to the T67 on the enemy team with 1,305. You can see there was only 5 players on either side that were actually real. When it came to kills, again, 73north gets the highest with 4. 3 kills went to the Leopard, the kill stealer, and 2 kills went to the M10 RBFM on his own team and the M10 RBFM on the enemy team. And when it came to base XP, he's got that one too, which means he's got the top in all 3 columns. He got 1,904 base out of that one. And again, that's a very high base XP. He exceeded it on the Churchill game, of course. But in this one, it's just below the 2,000 mark. 1,904, the next highest being the Leopard. And that's less than one, is it less than 1/3? It's close to what, less than 1/3 of the score that he managed to get. 665 for the Leopard, 637 for the M10 RBFM on his team. He fired 52 rounds. Well, you get plenty of ammunition in this tank. You've got 145 rounds to play with. So loads of ammunition. Didn't even use, around about, just under 1/3 of his ammunition. Just over 1/3, actually. 45 direct hits on the enemy, 35 penetrations, and 3,610 hit points of damage, of which 102 hit points were at more than 300 meters. He received 10 hits from the enemy, only 6 of those penetrated, 4 non-penetrations, 385 hit points of damage blocked by armor. The T-67 was doing some of the penetrating shots, and he was getting those at range because he was actually shooting at the turret, and so was the enemy tank, the KV-1, on the other side of the bridge. He damaged 11 of the enemy, killed 4. He spotted 2 enemy vehicles, I forgot to mention that one, and he also assisted with spotting assist of 469 out of that game. On a premium count, he actually made a loss of 65,977 credits from the game, and just look at that huge ammunition cost, 122,456 credits, and if only he'd actually used the standard rounds, not the AP, not the APCR, he probably would have ended up with less kills or maybe less damage overall, but he would have made a profit because, of course, those shells cost virtually nothing, the AP, whereas the APCR, very expensive indeed. He also made XP of 3,998 out of that one, and, well, that's okay, that's reasonable. This tank is one that you can use as a trainer, although the Churchill 3 can also make a very good training tank. So this was the first battle that he sent in, because he actually sent 2 replays to me. Let's have a look and see how 73north gets on in the next KV-220-2 battle. The second replay is on the south spawn of Steppes, and it's still a tier 5 game, but this time round there's no bots, or are there? Let's see. Well, in actual fact, there are a couple of bots on our team. It appears that the F2 and the Shure MV7X, I'm not sure if they are bots or not. They've got no XVM rating. I think they may be actual players because the F2 is actually a premium tank, and the bots probably wouldn't actually be using premium vehicles. So it may be a full team of proper human beings. At least, let's see if they behave that way. Okay, you can see that heavy armor right at the front of the vehicle. It was slightly stretched out to give them a bit more room for all the extra armor. You can see that difference is in the track wheels. The track wheels are slightly further apart than they are on the standard KV-1. Enemy tanks been spotted. The T-67 made a brave run to get down this far south, but he'd be foolish if he stayed here because, of course, he would suffer. Now, if they fire standard ammunition at a KV-220-2, they might have difficulty getting through, but if they were to actually fire premium rounds, even at a long distance, it might get penetrations. He fired 1 round in there, and I think he hit something. Yep, looks like he's hitting something behind that bush, because he's not having an effect. Those shells are actually not biting into the dust. So something might be taking the rounds at the other end. Oh, we spotted a KV-1SA. Again, he's still firing APCR, which is going to land him with a huge bill at the end of the game. Oh, there are some enemy tanks there, and it appears... Oh, this is going to be interesting, because we've got 2 Churchill 3s. Now, aim for the turret if you can, because it's the easiest part of the hitbox to hit. If you fire at the side of the vehicle, no guarantee that it will get through the tracks. You can aim below the turret on a Churchill 3 to hit the hitbox, but if the guy angles even just a small amount, he can actually block some of those shots. And of course, he just did that. He just angled slightly. Now, this tank does have a very big hull, but if you are facing a KV-220-2, you should plan accordingly and try and hit the weak turret. Alternatively, if you've got Arty on your team, you should tell the Arty to just hit him with plenty of HE, because the one thing that a KV-220 doesn't like is Arty. He's taking rounds from the Churchill, but he's not getting through the armor. They're hitting the tracks. Of course, the KV-220-2 is not always on sale, Whereas the Churchill 3 is normally in the shop, so you can pick one up if you want. They only put the KV-220-2 on sale occasionally. They've done it at Christmas, and they've done it other times, but it's normally been a special occasion if they do. Well, rounds are coming in behind us, so it looks like they know we're here. Somebody is spotting us up there, but there is also somebody just round the corner. There you go. And it's another KV-220-2 now. Does he fire at the turret? He should fire at the turret, not the hull. Don't go for the hull, just go for the turret. Turret only. No, he's trying to track the guy. And he is tracking him, but he's not getting penetrations because it's being blocked by the enemy tank. He's trying to take out a tier 7 hull by firing at the strong point. What you want to do is actually aim at the turret. Now the guy's taking damage. He aims for a weak spot there. Can he get another one in? No. And now he's blocking his teammate. And his teammate, well, it's actually a Churchill 3 that gets the kill. Now he's turned round and he's running back to his own cap area, and with good reason. He can read a mini-map. The thing about 73north is he's an Arty player, so he knows the value of the mini-map and he can see what's going on. He can see that T67 is the only guy defending our cap at the moment against a number of enemy tanks. The scores are equal. There's still 6 tanks out there, and he's in fact he's not the only one. The Churchill 3 has also said defend the base. So our team, apart from the Valiant, who's actually still going forward with the VK-30-1, he's actually turned to come back with some of his teammates to try and help that T67. Now, we did lose our VK-30-1H, and we've now lost the Valiant as well, mainly down to that Su-85 on the enemy team. Now, with the 85mm gun, he's quite powerful. But the T1 Heavy's gone down, and we've got a KV-1 over there. Now remember, this tank has actually got 8 degrees gun depression, so it can use ridgelines under the right circumstances. And yeah, there is an enemy tank up there using the hill height to shoot down on us. One shot is all it takes to take out the Panzer Sphere F2. Now, he's not very accurate on the move, and the enemy does have a gorilla as well as a Fifi. So he's got to expect to shell every 10 seconds trying to stop him. And the gorilla, well, if he gets tracked, the gorilla will try to nail him. And that's why this tank is so vulnerable to HE. If it gets tracked, it's so slow, it can't get out of the way of Arty, and then it gets shredded by Arty fire. Well, got a hit in the tracks, but this KV-1 is now in a whole world of trouble, because all he'll do is now he'll romp all over this guy and shoot him in the side. Oh, he's actually going to shoot him in the ass. Well, he didn't get the kill shot. That went to the T1 Heavy on his team, but he's done his necessary, and now he's running straight towards the enemy to kill their Arty. The Su-85 is over on the west. The Churchill 3 is dealing with him at the moment. We're going to go up the other end of the map. The reason why the Su-85 is quite fast is because, of course, it's a T-34 hull with an 85mm main gun. But, of course, it's very weak on armour, which is why the Churchill 3, is not a good match for it, because he's taken out that Churchill 3. But he is also returning to his cap because he knows that his own Arty is about to face 2 tanks which could take him down. In fact, the T67 on our team is now dealing with that Su-85. And here's the gorilla. Hello, Mr. Gorilla. 1 round goes in. Go for the second. Well, go for the gun shield. And he gets the kill. Now, where is the Fifi? The Fifi, as you know, is Fifi La Pew Pew, and he's announced his position. He got a direct hit on us, but he's announced where he is. The 105 Lefh 18B2, known to all Arty players as Fifi La Pew Pew, because it's French and it pews a lot at the enemy. And no, I didn't name it, somebody else did, but the name is stuck to Arty players. And there he is. Go for the gun shield. First shot in. Second, go for the kill. Oh, and the kill shot goes to the teammate, the T1 Heavy, who gets the kill steal. Here's the end of battle stats, and that was a first-class tanker for 73 North of WTWW in the KV-220-2. He managed to get a first mark of excellence out of that game, as well as a shell-proof for blocking more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle and surviving the battle, a fire for effect for doing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle, bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, in fact he got 11, he got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in that game, a Confederate for hitting more of the enemy than anyone else on his team, and he got a steel wall as well for blocking the most damage, at least 11 hits, over 1,000 hit points, and surviving the battle. His win rate from that one, 7,285, not quite as high as the previous games, but then he was having to travel quite a long distance to find those enemy tanks, and also he was getting a lot of kill steals again from other players in the team. Let's have a look at team score. Well, in this one, even though there's a huge number of real players in the game, in fact, it wasn't a bot game at all, he got 2,585 hit points of damage. Second highest damage went to the Su-85 on the enemy team. Practice player must have been. He got 1,987 hit points of damage. And the third highest was the T-67 on our team, who also bested that Su-85. He got 1,604 in third place. When it came to kills, the Churchill 3 managed 4 kills. So did the T1 Heavy, and he got the last kill of the game. And also the Su-85 and T1 Heavy on the enemy team both got 4 kills. And 73 North only got 2 out of that one, alongside the T-67 on his team and the Stuttgart Aslains on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, he's top on that one. So he got the top on 2 of the columns, missed out on the number of kills because of the kill steals. 1,521 went to 73 North, 1,508 went to the Churchill 3, and 903 went to the T-67 on his team. The kill stealer, the T1 Heavy, got 636 out of that. Well, the Churchill 3 also did a kill steal during that game, but of course he paid for it because he got wiped out in the end. 43 shots fired again, barely touched his ammo, less than a third. 40 direct hits on the enemy, 24 penetrations, 2,585 hit points of damage, of which 707 were up more than 300 meters. The reason why there were so many shots blocked in this one and so few penetrations was mainly down to that enemy KV-220-2. He aimed for the track wheel, and it's not the that's one of the strong points. You don't want to go for the track wheel because the shells will stop on the tracks. You might track the guy, but you won't actually get through. You have to aim for the turret or to try and get the side of the hull where it's not strong, where they haven't put heavy metal. And so the trying to fire for the front of the hull is not going to work. Well, it might work if you've got premium rounds so you know where to put the weak spots, where the driver's viewports is and the machine gunner, but it won't work if you aim for the drive wheels. So try not to do that. Best aim just for the turret because it will go straight through the turret every time. In fact, standard AP will penetrate the turret. He received 16 hits from the enemy, but only one of those actually penetrated. 14 non-penetrations and 3 hits by way of splash damage. 1,365 hit points of damage blocked by armor. He spotted 5 enemy vehicles in the game, got 8 enemy vehicles damaged and 2 killed, 519 hit points of damage assistance or spotting assist. Now, in this game, he made an even bigger loss in this game. 86,988 credits loss. And that's all down to the ammunition, and this time consumables, because he did have to pay for 3 sets of consumables at 60,000. So yeah, I'm afraid firing APCR is really going to be expensive for your wallet, and it's much better if you fire standard AP and only switch to the APCR when you really do have to, and switch back once you've used the APCR. He also made a profit on XP of 3,194 experience points as well. So the challenge now for 73 North is that now that he's had 2 battles like that, he's got his first mark of excellence, he's got his first ace tanker. Now he's really got to try and get a lot of damage, but do so without using the premium rounds. If he can actually do that and master using standard AP, he'll not only make a profit, but he'll probably be able to dominate the battlefield because he'll have to aim for the weak spots. And whenever I take KV-220-2 out, I always aim for the turret on the enemy tank because I know that the turret is the one place on a KV-220 which is absolutely vulnerable. It's just a standard KV-1 turret, so it's very, very weak armor. And with this gun, with this 76mm gun, you can easily get through it. So not to worry at all with standard AP. Don't aim for the hull unless you can get a clear shot between the tracks, between the drive wheels to actually go through the hull. But again, if you can, aim for the rear of the vehicle, try and get an engine fire. You did that in one of the games, in the first one on Widepark. So it does actually work because eventually you do get fires and set the guys alight. But an interesting game, seeing what actually happens if you fire APCR, you end up emptying your wallet very, very quickly. Hope you enjoyed those replays. If you did, please give this video a like, do subscribe to our channel, leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm, and thank you for watching.